Now, you might also need to kill some ants. Ants are automatic negative thoughts, are those thoughts that just pop into your brain and you didn't invite them to be there. Ants can come in all kinds of forms. Fortune-telling ants, mind-reading ants, catastrophizing ants, all or nothing ants, shaming and blaming ants. All of them are there. And really, it's your brain trying to find solutions to problems, to situations that are uncertain. But again, remember that our brain will overwork sometimes. So these ants show up, and unfortunately, the brain can easily get locked into a negative narrative. So I want to show you a couple of ways to get rid of those pesky ants. The first is called thought stopping. Thought stopping means that basically when we become anxious, there is a thought associated with the anxiety. So if you really think about that, I'm having a feeling that's anxious, but I have a thought connected with it. So let's say I just had an interview and I am so concerned that I'm going to get this job. Well, that I'm not going to get this job actually, and I am worried. So I begin to think thoughts associated with that. Oh, I don't think I'm going to get this job. I don't think I did a very good job. There are so many people applying for jobs, they are probably going to give it to somebody else. I may never get a job. My anxious feelings and my negative thoughts are connected with one another. So what I want to do instead is stop that thought, boss back that thought, and replace it instead with something positive, even if I don't believe it yet. As I begin to say positive things, my brain will begin to believe them. So I say instead, I may or may not get that job. I sure did a good job at the interview though. And there are plenty of jobs out there. You know, they'd be lucky to have me. I'm really good at this thing that I'm interviewing for. Notice even with that, how you might feel differently having said something positive about a situation that you're still anxious about or uncertain about. So I want to practice this with you, and what I want you to do is think of something that you might be feeling anxious about right now. Something that you're worried about, concerned about, uncertain about. Think of that, and if you can't think of something current, think of something in the past. Think about that anxious feeling and the thought that's associated with that anxious feeling. No doubt it's a negative thought. So just for practice, go ahead and boss that negative thought back and replace it with something positive. See what it feels like just to practice that negative thought with a positive reframe or a positive overlay. Notice how you feel in your body in terms of difference. You might want to see a ginormous stop sign in front of the negative thought and a big green light in front of the positive thought or associated with that. And just notice how that feels. And with that being said, we can also practice another ant-killing strategy, and this one is called thought distancing. And this is where I decide that I'm just going to place that thought far away from me. I'm not going to really feel all that attached to it. I might want to send that thought away on a train, just down to another location, and I'm staying in the station. Maybe I want to see it floating away on a cloud, or maybe I want to see it carried away by the wind on a leaf, or maybe out to sea, carried by an ocean wave. So I separate the thought from me. It's just a thought. It doesn't mean it's true or false. Lastly, I want to introduce you to the thought challenge. So this is where, again, I don't give my thought too much weight. I just see it as a thought that may or may not be true. And I ask myself the 4-question turnaround. Is this true? Can I 100% know it's true? What am I like when I believe this thought? And what will I feel like without it? As I go through those 4 questions, I'm actually carrying my brain to the place I want it to be from the place it is. By naming the feeling that I want to have, my brain can find its way through neuroplasticity, or its ability to change the course, I change the direction and create new neural pathways. So again, my 4-question turnaround, another great strategy for killing those bothersome automatic negative thoughts are ants that can get in my way of being progressive and of being positive. So again, let's use those containers and let's get in the business of killing those bothersome ants. I'll see you next time.